Imagine a place free of problems, scams, and thievery. A place where comfort is your only concern. Imagine Comfort Time Live.
All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another great edition of Comfort Time Live here on this absolute beautiful Friday afternoon. Glad everybody made it through the little storms. How about you? Did you get?
Did good. We've got water still seeping out of the ground.
Yeah.
So everything's soggy.
Yeah, it is. We got flooded at my house. In front of my house, about 3 foot of water.
Inside the house?
No.
Oh,
just
good.
outside the door. I mean, it was
Yeah.
actually coming up the door.
You were watching it creep
They
in.
actually went around and put sandbags in front of everybody's doors.
Okay.
But and it was funny because it's just a very low-lying area that we're in, and there's a lake right across the street.
Right.
So of course the lake floods over. You can't get rid of
And
the
it all
water.
connects.
And it's just horrible. It started off Cashmere in Port St.
Okay.
Lucie, and that was just absolutely flooded all the way across.
You know, years ago when we'd get a big rain, there used to be the walking catfish. Have you ever seen
Oh,
those? Yeah, in that area.
But it was. I was surprised. I mean, I've been in Port St. Lucie for quite a while, and you know, you always get flooding. But I really didn't think it rained that much. I mean, it rained, but it just didn't seem like that much. Maybe it was just, I don't know, was it so just...
Well, you know, water has a tendency to follow the path of least resistance, so it may not have poured at your house, but it ran that way.
That's true. You got a point there. Oh, well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to have an open phone lines today, but we're going to be talking about how to protect yourself when looking at air conditioning quotes. So when you have contractors come to your house, we're going to talk about what to look for, what to expect, what to ask for, because this past week I came across many people who basically were having the wool pulled over their eyes when it came to filling it. Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for these unlicensed contractors, I probably wouldn't have a show. So that's good. I mean, it's good and it's bad, but we're going to keep working on it. But there's a lot of things that you should look for, so we're going to talk about that today. But first, we want to say hello to our sponsors, Benjamin Franklin Plumbing, located right here in Port St. Lucie. We also have Elite Electric for all your electrical needs, from tightening up your breakers in your house to checking out your smoke detectors, because as we know, we don't want to be smoking in that house and have to worry about those alarms not going off. We want to make sure we're protected. Also, we want to thank Elite Electric and Air, their air conditioning side of the business. They're actually our air conditioning sponsor. We want to thank them because without these sponsors, Comfort Time Live would not exist. And even though we help promote their business a little bit, the great thing I like about the sponsors is that they understand that we're here to serve a purpose. We're here to help the community. We're here to make sure that our listeners do not become a statistic of unlicensed activity or less than honest contractors out there. So that's a good thing. Remember, you can always go to comforttimelive.com if you want to find out. There's all kinds of information. We actually play the show, archive the show. You can actually watch the show live. Unfortunately, today we had a little technical difficulty, so we actually are not being broadcasted live on the radio. Is that correct?
So if you're listening, you're not hearing us say this.
Exactly. For you folks who are tuning in on the radio, hey, I can talk about all of them and they'll never know.
No, they won't.
Unless you go to Comfort Time Live. But one of the cool things that we found out is if you have a smartphone and you can actually download the Ustream app and you can watch Comfort Time Live right on your smartphone. So that was pretty impressive. And actually, there is a special young lady who is watching us right now that I'd like to say good morning to. An incredibly beautiful young lady who's part of my life now, and I want to say good morning to you, sweetie. And I hope you're going to have a wonderful day. Hopefully they let you go home really, really early. So now, September 7th, which will be next Friday. That's correct? Yeah, that sounds right. Next Friday, we have Doug Smith from Janus Investigations. Is going to be a guest on our show. I'd love to have him as a sponsor, but we're going to have him as a guest on our show. And we're going to be talking about all kinds of things. We're going to be talking about how folks try to get away with filing workers' comp claims and how their company helped businesses in the community to catch these people that, they say they get hurt at work, and then you go home and you see them and they're out fishing or they're doing things that they shouldn't be doing.
Gotta live.
Yeah, gotta live. No, well, when you say you hurt your back and you're out in the field reeling in 200-pound marlins, I don't think...
Maybe that's a good day.
Yeah, it's a good day. But that is one of the reasons, unfortunately, and I know in the state of Florida for air conditioning contractors, workers' compensation is an absolute huge dollar amount every year. And now they do a lot. There's a lot of things that can happen that companies can utilize to reduce their numbers that they have, their ratios. But by doing drug testing and having safety courses and classes. But that it's a big chunk of change for contractors to be able to have that number. So he's going to be here talking about that. Now the other thing, which I'm really excited about this, and I'm hoping I can get him to talk about a lot of this during the show, is how his company also goes out and helps to catch cheating spouses or significant others. I'm curious to find out.
I think if it's a significant other, you've got room right there to cheat if you like. You're only a significant other.
I don't know about that.
The commitment's not really there.
Well,
so
I'm going to disagree with that one.
And the commitment's not really there.
So you're saying if there's not a ring on the finger.
Exactly.
So, wow. I don't even need to finish that statement. So either we put a ring on the finger or we're allowed to go out and do whatever we want. But, of course, you're saying that goes both ways.
No hugging, no kissing till you make me your wife. Remember the song?
Oh, that's right.
Gotta love it.
Nah, that ain't happening. That is not happening. Oh, okay. So, and we're also going to do some trivia a little bit later on, and we're going to give away some prizes. Now, when we give away the prize, we're going to actually allow you to pick which one of the trivia prizes that you like. Now, actually, we're not going to be able to do trivia because the people aren't listening on.
You can.
Unless there's somebody listening
Sure,
on.
we can take their phone calls. They have to be listening online.
They have to be listening online.
It just sort of narrows the it makes the winning easier.
It makes the winning easier. I like that.
So if you're online and you're listening, you can play trivia. You can call us up and claim that prize.
There you go. So we'll actually give some trivia away. You either get to choose a one-time whole house plumbing inspection, a whole house electrical inspection, or a one-time heating and air conditioning tune-up. I'm gonna adjust my camera. My camera keeps fading in and out. I don't know what it is, but anyway, we'll get it fixed. All right, so let's start off with a little bit of information about our proposals. Now, this week, some of the things that I came across is why get 3 bids? If you're having contractors, and I'm using air conditioning because that's my forte. Why do we recommend, or why do we feel that it's recommended to get 3 different contractors to come out to your home and give you a bid on the same equipment? And one of the biggest things is because we can't trust them, so we get 3 bids so that we can kind of put all 3 of them together and come up with even half of a reason to buy. And we're hoping that, okay, well, if all 3 of them say I should replace one thing, then I should replace it. Or if all 3 of them tell me this, then that's probably which way I should go. But you're going to find that 80% of what's on the quote is not the same thing that's on the other quote, and it's not the same thing that's on the other quote.
Should you get a 4th quote?
No. And I tell you, I see that. I've seen people with 5, 6, 7 quotes. And the problem is you just, once you get too much information, then the whole process just it kills it.
Well, you start to think then this must be an opinion versus what I really need, and it would be very hard to write that check.
Well, you're going to find that just about, I would say probably 80%, it's 80-20 rule, 80% of all the contractors that come into your home, what they propose a lot of times is all opinion.
Mm-hmm.
It's their
Well, see,
opinion.
I'm thinking it's broke or it's not broke.
Right, but it's broke somehow, but a lot of people are buying air conditioning systems not just because it's broke right now, but because it's old, it's inefficient, and they want to buy one.
Oh, I'm not buying until it's broke.
Well,
We're sweating at our house before I'm writing a check.
You're the 20%. You're the 20%.
Yeah.
80-20 rule. 80% of the people are going out and they look, well, it's costing me money. So if your electric bill was $300-400 a month, Okay, and by putting a new air conditioning system in, you could save $150 to $200 a month because your air conditioning is just sucking you dry. Well, you could finance that for less than $100 a month, and you're putting money back in your pocket.
But I may not even see that savings, so if I have a really old refrigerator in my kitchen.
No, because 59% of your electric bill is your air conditioning.
Okay.
So you're going to see the savings.
Okay.
So my point is if you have an old air conditioner and you buy a brand new air conditioning system, you're guaranteed you're going to save money if the company does a good job installing it.
Okay.
Florida Power and Light says 59% of your electric bill is your air conditioning system. Now that's going to vary depending on what temperature you keep it at, but we talked about this on the show before. Your three top things are your air conditioner, water heater, refrigerator, unless you have pool pumps and things of that nature. Then they actually jump in before the refrigerator. Put a timer on your water heater. You know, if you don't put a timer on your water heater, your water heater turns off and on 3, 4, 5 times a day. Well, if you're not home,
I put in an on-demand system. Love it, love it, love
There
it,
you
love
go.
it, love it.
yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, where you can do something like that.
Yeah, it's
but for
great.
the average homeowner who doesn't have the on-demand or the instant water heater or the tankless, you know, putting a timer on your water heater to where it only, let's say you come home at 5 o'clock every day, you take a shower at 6
Yeah, because
o'clock.
think about it. You're sitting at work.
Yep.
You've got hot water.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean,
You're not even
I'm
home.
glad I got hot water. I'm glad I'm spending all that money on that electricity.
You're not
so
even home.
Go to Home Depot or one of those big box stores. Or call up Benjamin Franklin Plumbing and have them come out. And or I'm not sure if Elite Electric does it as well because it's
You
part
may
of
need
their-
both of them.
You may need both of them.
Yeah.
Correct. And give them a call and have them come out. It'll save you a bunch of money on your electric bill. But with the air conditioning system, you're going to save money. So for the 80% of the people that say, okay, well, my electric bill, like the house I was just at a couple days ago, $240 a month electric bill. The house is only 1,000 square foot. Okay, 10 to 12 cents per square foot is where your electric bill should be. If it's any higher than that, now that's the top. It should be below that.
Okay.
If it's higher
So
than
you're
that,
going 10 to 12 cents depending on how cool you keep your house.
right, 10
Okay.
to 12 cents. And if it's higher than that, you've got a big problem with, and most likely it's your air conditioning system, and you need to get it looked at. And then and obviously the things like having the dryer vent close to the outside unit, and the dryer lint gets sucked into the fins out
Ooh,
there,
mhm.
and that causes inefficiency. The house that we're at the other day, same thing. Dryer vent right by the condensing unit outside. Just that one whole side of the condensing unit was just impacted with dryer lint. You know what? Go take a pair of pantyhose, or if you don't wear pantyhose, buy a pair of pantyhose. Cut the toe off. Use just the last 6 inches of the pantyhose, paper clip it or clothespin it to the bottom of the dryer vent outside. It'll catch all that lint and it won't blow into the air conditioning system. But what you find is that everybody has an opinion. They have an opinion of what efficiency rating. They have an opinion as far as what filtration system is better than others. And you'll hear guys say, well, this is, you know, the other guy, I had a guy call me up and go, well, so-and-so said Goodman is the best product in the world, and that they don't like Rheem. Well, it's all a matter of opinion. You know, pull your
But isn't it going to be what's best for that customer?
But best for the customer, when you're looking at a brand name, how can you say what's best for the customer? Except for what
Well,
fits in their house the best.
Or what they have in their checking account?
Well, that's true. That's why, you know, I let people know that it's the contractor's job to find out what equipment best fits your needs in your house. It's your job to determine where your budget is.
So if you get these 3 estimates, they should be on like equipment then.
Well, yes and no. If the guys are asking the right question, but you're very rarely ever going to get that unless you specifically ask.
Mhm.
If you specifically ask and say, well, I had a guy come to my house and he quoted on a train.
Mhm.
I would like you to quote me on train. Well, you need to make sure that you contact somebody who deals only with train or other products as well, because there's a lot of contractors out there that don't buy train, can't buy train. They're not allowed to buy train. And if you force them to quote you on a train because they don't buy it, they're going to be way out of the ballpark on price, because they may pay.
Well, shouldn't they tell me right there we don't deal with train? And I should say, well, thank you for coming out.
A lot of things should
I mean,
be
if
should.
my heart's set on a train,
A lot of things should be should.
okay.
Okay, but if you don't notify them ahead of time, when you pick up the phone and call a contractor, if you know you want train, or after that first
Or I know I
bid-
want a price for train, and then we'll go from there.
Right, but you also need to find out if train's the right fit for the house. You don't know that, because what's the size of the air handler inside? Is it in the attic? Is it in a closet? So all of these have to be determined. And so they need to be kept as close as possible But the things that you have to look at is why to get 3 bids. A lot of it is basically you need to find the 3 people are going to come out and make recommendations, and they all need the basics are the basics. You're going to need certain things based on the install. So that's why you're getting 3 bids, just to see how consistent everybody is. But to an average homeowner, how do you know what's supposed to be? The only thing you're doing is going off the 3 bids that are in your house. And that's why people get 3 bids.
See, I'm from the prove it to me generation.
Well, you can't prove it to you until after you signed a contract.
Okay, you can't show me that something's like corroded and broken or
Right. But whose opinion is it that it should be replaced now, or you can actually go a little longer with it?
Okay.
Okay, it's my opinion as the person,
Mhm.
my experience, and what do you have to do as the homeowner? You have to trust me.
Right.
Well, I don't know you from Adam or Eve, so
Mhm.
what am I going to do to trust you? So it's that person's responsibility to build as much trust in the home before they ask for the business. And we'll get to a point. We're going to take a break, but we'll get to a point of some of the other things. But 3 bids is a good thing because it builds a comfort level. But you also need to know what you're looking at, and that's what we're going to continue on with the show. But don't miss, when we come back, we're also going to do our trivia. If you're listening online, when you give it a chance at 340-1590. This is the number to call here at the studio if you would like to win, or if you have some questions. You're listening to Comfort Time Live. We'll be right back.
Elite Electric.
It.
Elite Electric.
There's nothing to it.
Elite Electric.
Ooh, amazing.
Elite Electric.
Boogie, woogie, woogie, woogie.
Elite Electric specializes in all of your electrical needs, from security lighting to surge protection and everything in between. How do you think they got their name? Elite Electric. Elite Electric has been family owned and operated on the Treasure Coast since 1988, and they're recommended by Comfort Time Live. Visit online at eliteelectricandair.com and learn more about their services. Elite Electric. Service today. Proud sponsor of Comfort Time Live Friday mornings at 11 on WPSL 1590.
No matter what you want, just pick up your phone, say, come on, Elite.
And we'll get the job done.
We can do it.
Elite Electric.
There's nothing to it.
Elite Electric.
Benjamin Franklin Plumbing would like to help you schedule some help, whatever on-time help you need. For plumbing emergencies like a busted water heater, go to schedulesomehelp.com. Sewage problems? Schedulesomehelp.com. If water is dripping from your ceiling, schedulesomehelp.com. If you need help repairing that leaky faucet or upgrading your shower head, schedulesomehelp.com. Want help with your golf game? Yep. Schedulesomehelp.com. Right now, get help for $25 at schedulesomehelp.com. Limitations and exclusions apply. See schedulesomehelp.com for full details.
Known for helping you keep that spark, now they'll help you keep cool. Elite Electric and Air, the official air conditioning sponsor of Comfort Time Live, has provided the best in heating and cooling customer service since 1988. If your electric bill is costing you more than 12 cents per square foot under air, you may be overpaying the utility company. Elite Electric and Air can help put that cash back in your pocket. Call Elite Electric and Air with 24-hour service. Dial 340-3797. That's 340-3797.
Hard work.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You are listening to Comfort Time Live. I see we still have a couple viewers online listening to us. That's a beautiful thing. And if listening, you can call in at 340-1590 if you'd like to ask any questions, and maybe we can chat a little bit about. So what we're talking about today is how to help you through your proposals from heating and air conditioning contractors. And we talked about what the reasons are to get 3 bids. But you have to understand what's on the bid, and the only way to do that is you need to check with local municipalities. You need to go on the internet and do some research, because you may still have all 3 bids that are not looking or doing the right thing for you. Just because you have 3 contractors out there doesn't mean that those 3 guys know exactly 100% what they're doing. I come across it all the time. Comfort Time Live actually goes out and does a third-party evaluation for folks, and I go out, I give them a comprehensive report, and a lot of times I've been out to the homes after they've had 3 bids out there, and I look at the bids, and I'll physically, like you were saying, I will show the homeowner why the bids that they have are not covering everything.
So
or
you see
are
red
miss-
flags just by
Oh,
looking at the bids.
Absolutely. I can see red flags by looking at the bids, and then I physically will go into the home and show the homeowner why the information on one or all of those bids is inaccurate. And that's like you were saying. The important thing is they need to be shown. But if they don't know what to expect and they don't know what they're looking at, then they're going to assume that all three of those guys are giving them the right information. And that is not always true, especially in the heating air conditioning business, because a lot of times we have maintenance technicians going out to a house giving a bid. The other day I had a young lady call me up for Comfort Time Live and had a business out there, and the guy told her ductwork was in great shape. Well, when the installation crew went out there to install the unit, it was a manufactured home. They pulled the package unit outside the house, and the whole entire underside of the manufactured home was filled with water, because the manufactured homes are typically there's a big hole dug out in some of the locations,
Sure.
and they're set on top of these so that there's actually some space under there. Well, that whole space had filled up with water, so the ductwork was actually completely filled with water.
Wow.
So if the installers hadn't caught that, the guy who was out there who didn't do his job, but the homeowner assumed that they knew exactly what they were doing, they would have sucked water into that brand new unit and caused the new unit to fail. Now, of course, it would have been under warranty, but it just, you can't assume that because somebody is in the business that they know what they're doing.
I'm not sure I'd be very comfortable in the house, though, knowing it's sitting over water, too.
But you don't know it until, you had no clue.
Yeah.
Because on these homes, it's completely sealed around there. So, and the reason it's covered is so
It's like
that
having a basement or
it is,
a
exactly.
partial
It's
basement.
about typically they're anywhere between 18 to 3 foot deep, depending on where they're at. And this is like a Savannah Club area in Port St. Lucie. But the reason that they try to seal them up the best is to keep the critters and stuff out
Sure.
from underneath there. So typically nobody's going to be looking in there unless there's somebody ripping, unscrewing something to crawl in there. So she had no clue. But of course, FEMA and some other things helped her out because it was flooded. But that's why you can't expect that because they work for that company or they're in that business that they know 100% what they're doing, or that he may know what they're doing, but maybe they're not being as thorough. And like we've had listeners call here on the show and ask about information. I say, okay, well, when the air conditioning guy went in the attic, oh, well, the guy says he doesn't go in attics. Huh?
Yeah, because that's where the air conditioning system mainly is. All
Yep.
your ductwork is in your attic.
That's like a mechanic
You have
saying,
to
I don't
in
go
your-
under the hood. If I can't start it up and fix it from outside, I'm not lifting that hood up. So it's insane, but that's what you hear. Now, some of the things we want to look for on the quote. One of the biggest things that I see is that a lot of the quotes have the box checked off, all required permits. That the contractor says he's going to pull all required permits. However, and this one in particular the other day when I was looking at, nothing was checked off of the things that needed to be done to bring the unit up to code. Like strapping the unit down to a slab, making sure that a long time ago air handlers used like dryer cords, like a washer dryer, a dryer, how the plug looks like. They use those instead of like switches. Well, now that's not code anymore. You actually have to have an off-on switch or a pull-out or a breaker or something. So when I see that they're not replacing any disconnects, that they're not replacing any breakers, the equipment today is more efficient than it was years ago. Because it's more efficient, it uses less energy. Because it uses less energy, you have to adjust the size of the breakers in the panel. All right, because you have to get it to the point where that breaker trips before there's any major issues. Well, if the unit draws a lot less energy and you still have this really high amperage breaker in there, a lot can happen before that breaker ends up tripping. So a lot of times you're reducing the size of the breaker. So I don't see that on their proposals. So there's a lot of things that you don't see, which are just red flags to me that go, this guy's not going to pull a permit. Did he talk to you about this? Did he talk to you about, no, I didn't say anything like that. Okay, well, if you decide to go with this guy, and that's your option, and I never push anybody in one direction or the other. I strongly recommend that they use our sponsors because I've done the background on them. However, I never push anybody in the direction. I say, if you decide to use this company, you need to ask for proof that the permit was pulled. Okay? Now, a lot of the municipalities, except for, I shouldn't say a lot of municipalities will give you the permit right then and there. Martin County takes a little bit of time, but if I go to the city of Port St. Lucie, I can walk in and walk out in 5 minutes with a permit and have it on hand and bring it to the job site. So you need to verify, because just checking a box off means absolutely nothing to
Now,
me.
should that be posted at the house? Should it be
It's
in a
supposed to
window?
be. It's supposed to be, correct. If it's an emergency situation and at 8 o'clock at night, customer says, I want to go with the new system, and the next morning the company's out there, you know, a lot of the municipalities will give them some leeway, but still, it would need to be brought to the job site and posted, and then when the inspector comes out eventually, the permit should be posted on site for the inspector to see. But yes, but in some instances, it just doesn't happen that way. Some of the municipalities are 2 weeks behind. You know, like Martin County, if you don't physically walk in there to get a permit, Martin County lets you do it online. But if you do it online, it takes weeks.
I mean, I could see waiting for, you know, you're going to put a pool in the backyard, you're going to put an addition on the house, but they should have maybe a special window you go to for air conditioning, because it's hot out there.
Right, it's not. In Martin County, now, I know it may have changed. In Martin County, you actually have to go to one desk, drop off the paperwork, pay a fee, or you can pay the whole thing. Then that paperwork has to walk across to the other side of the
You get a
room.
number and you take a seat.
Just about. It walks across to the other side. That person inspects it, brings it back, and brings it over to there. So you got to wait. St. Lucie, you walk in with your paperwork. The girls at the desk, they put the information in. They look at your information. Boom, 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 boom. Done. It's plain and simple. Now, Martin County may have changed. So if somebody from Martin County is listening and they're like, hey, you know,
Yeah.
you might have changed.
Well,
It's been
yeah,
a
I
couple-
think, you know, for
been a couple
air,
months.
especially for air conditioning,
Should be
because
quick, in
it's,
and out.
if it breaks today and I need a new one,
Yeah.
I'd like it today or tomorrow.
Exactly.
I don't want
And
to
that's
wait
why,
a week.
You know, and sometimes if you do it online, you know, they do give you some leeway where they'll say, okay, well, we see that the contractor applied for the permit. Okay, so he's done his part. It's not his fault or the customer's fault that we're behind. So if an inspector went out, now you can print off the form that shows that you've applied for it, okay, and then give it, but they're not going to gig you typically.
So that piece of paper really should be with your paperwork.
It should
then.
be, correct. And then once the main permit's there, then of course you'd call the inspection in and whatnot. But there's a lot of red flags, but you have to know what you're looking for in order to be able to see these things. And, you know, I'll be more than happy to do that for you here at Comfort Time Live. You can go to comforttimelive.com or just go comforttimelive@gmail.com and email me. You can, you know, scan some of the things in and send them over to me. It's purely confidential. You can even cross out the names of the companies. I don't care. I'd probably prefer that. This way I don't know who they are, because mentally I might have some bias for one to the other. Oh God, not that company. not the company.
He won't sleep at night.
Not the company with the big bear on the side. No, don't use them. But you have to know what you're looking for in order to benefit from it. You know, an air conditioning contractor that doesn't go in the attic and your air handler's in the attic. Oh my gosh. You know, I don't accept it, but if your air handler's not in the attic and the guy doesn't go up there, it's still wrong, but I would accept that more than I would accept a guy not going in the attic when the air handler's in the attic. You got to measure. You got to look at what's there. You got to know what's got to go on. Can the guys get it in the attic? There's nothing worse than having an air handler in the attic and the installer showing up and going, well, we can't get this in there. We're gonna have to cut a hole in your ceiling to get it up there. What? Well, that wasn't talked about. And you know, one of the other big things is not making sure that anything that could potentially go wrong is discussed ahead of time, so that the dollar amounts are agreed to before work starts. For instance, the copper lines that go from the inside to the outside, those are, I call them like the arteries in your body. The refrigerant that goes through those copper lines is like the blood in your veins, okay? Those copper lines, as long as they go overhead into the attic and not underground through the concrete, they typically can be saved, where you just clean them out really good and you can reuse them, okay? If they go underground, they just need to be replaced. It's just the chances of, but a homeowner can say, I want to take a chance, okay? You can take the chance, but just like some of that, Here is what the cost would be, is when we come to install this, if we find out that these refrigeration lines are not acceptable and they have to be replaced, here's the cost. Here's the investment. Knowing, and ask them right up front, tell me what things could potentially be unforeseen when we do this. And then I want to know, I want it in writing, what that cost could be. Like thermostat wire, okay? Thermostat wire goes from the thermostat on your wall to the air handler in the attic or in the closet or whatnot. From that air handler, another one runs out to the outside condenser, okay? We typically don't change those unless you're going to run new copper lines. Then you run a new line to the outside unit. But very rarely do you ever replace the line that goes from the air handler to the thermostat. Well, that should be put in there. If there's any problems with that wire, what would be the cost for you to fix that? But God forbid you spend $4,000 or $5,000 and the guy comes there and he goes, oh, well, it's going to be $650 for the refrigeration line set. It's going to be another $150 for me to run this thermostat wire that's broke. But that's how a lot of these companies, especially the ones from down south, sneak on up here. They steal the bids for thousands less, and then they get on the job, and then, oh, well, we got to do this. Oh, we got to do that. Oh, we got to do this. Or they don't pull permits. And if you don't pull a permit, my gosh, I can get away with probably $500 to $1,000 worth of things that I can get away with not doing, and I can underbid you all day long. I don't have to put disconnects on. I don't strap units down. I don't have to put float switches. I don't have to do this. I don't have to do that. I found one house where the company came up and they didn't even take the air handler out of the attic. They just put the new one in and left everything up there. They just ducked it in. I mean, and they probably paid the guys like $7 an hour to do it. So those guys probably had no clue what they were doing. They were just like,
Where they move the old one over a little bit
take
and
box, put it on stand, put this here, plug that in. Okay, bye. You know, so it takes the guy 2 hours to do a job that should take 6 to 8 hours because, you know. So you gotta be cautious of that when you're looking at those quotes. Make sure everything is in writing. Make sure everything is documented on that piece of paper. Make sure it's checked off. Make sure that they show you all of their business information and make sure that it matches up with the proposal. So on a proposal, the contractor's air conditioning contractor's number should be on the proposal. It's either going to be an M number, a CAC, or an RA number. That should match with when they show you a copy of their license and the addresses, all that stuff should match, unless it's a P.O. box or something. Make sure that you're not using some guy on the side. Make sure that you're not using a subcontractor of a subcontractor. Make sure you're not using a moonlighter. Because, you know, like that last week when we talked about the contractor's exam board, when it ended up being the people from Panther Trace down in Martin County, where that guy got caught because all the paperwork on the proposal said nothing about the company he was working for. Everything was his personal name, his address. I mean, the company wasn't on there.
looks like a side job to me.
It looks like a side job. Unfortunately, they couldn't do anything about it because it wasn't their municipality. But they did submit everything to Martin County. So you need to check these things. And that leads me to one of my biggest things, and I know there's going to be if any contractors are listening to me right now, I'm probably going to get beat up in the parking lot. Never, ever, ever, ever. Did I say never, ever? Accept a contract or sign a proposal while the contractor is in your home. Never. I don't care who it is. Let him leave. Think about it. Research it. Sleep on it if you have to.
Phone a friend.
Phone a friend, exactly. Phone a friend. Call a Lifeline. Do something, but here's the couple of the things that are going to happen. Number one, you might luck out and the guy might start squealing and go, well, I'll discount it for you, just to try to earn your business. Well, let him discount away. And let him discount away. But still don't buy from him right then and there. Now, he may be the guy that you want to go with, 150%. Just don't do it right that second. Collect your thoughts. Do some research. Send some information to Comfort Time Live and let us talk through it. I have no problem with that. But we get ourselves in a bind sometimes because some of these guys out there are very persuasive. And they're going to tell you things that aren't true just to get you to sign a piece of paper.
I think things are probably also, they move fast when it comes to air conditioning because it's hot and you need to get somebody out fast.
Exactly.
It's just like plumbing too. If you've got a leak and you've got water pouring in, you need a plumber fast.
Yep. Absolutely. Now, something small, it's okay with, but I'm talking like large investments. Like if you're talking about putting in a tankless water heater or something like that, or a water heater or something, a larger investment dollar amount. I mean, if you're just fixing a wax ring or something like that on a toilet, that's okay. But something that's a large investment, like an air conditioner, that's probably one of the third largest investments in the house. Roof being probably the biggest one. And air conditioners, unfortunately, happen twice as often or 3 times as often as your roof if you do the roof right. But even if it's a couple hours, even if it's that you let the guy drive down the street and you call him back in a half hour, but do some research, collect your thoughts, get away from the "I gotta have this now" type of thing, and trust me, you will benefit yourself 100-fold by doing that. You really, really will. Okay, we're going to take another quick break and listen to some of our sponsors here. When we come back, we're going to talk to you about some of the discounts and how you can benefit from asking some certain questions to get a little bit extra money off of your heating and air conditioning proposal. You're listening to Comfort Time Live. We'll be right back.
Elite Electric.
We can do it.
Elite Electric.
There's nothing to it.
Elite Electric.
Ooh, amazing.
Elite Electric.
Boogie, woogie, woogie, woogie.
Elite Electric specializes in all of your electrical needs, from security lighting to surge protection and everything in between. How do you think they got their name? Elite Electric. Elite Electric has been family owned and operated on the Treasure Coast since 1988, and they're recommended by Comfort Time Live. Visit online at eliteelectricandair.com and learn more about their services. Elite Electric. Service today. Proud sponsor of Comfort Time Live Friday mornings at 11 on WPSL 1590.
No matter what you want, just pick up your phone, say, come on, Elite.
And we'll get the job done.
We can do it.
Elite Electric.
There's nothing to it.
Elite Electric.
Benjamin Franklin Plumbing would like to help you schedule some help, whatever on-time help you need. For plumbing emergencies like a busted water heater, go to schedulesomehelp.com. Sewage problems? Schedulesomehelp.com. If water is dripping from your ceiling, schedulesomehelp.com. If you need help repairing that leaky faucet or upgrading your shower head, schedulesomehelp.com. Want help with your golf game? Yep. Schedulesomehelp.com. Right now, get help for $25 at schedulesomehelp.com. Limitations and exclusions apply. See schedulesomehelp.com for full details.
Known for helping you keep that spark, now they'll help you keep cool. Elite Electric and Air, the official air conditioning sponsor of Comfort Time Live, has provided the best in heating and cooling customer service since 1988. If your electric bill is costing you more than 12 cents per square foot under air, you may be overpaying the utility company. Elite Electric and Air can help put that cash back in your pocket. Call Elite Electric and Air with 24-hour service. Dial 340-3797. That's 340-3797.
All right, welcome back to Comfort Time Live, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to do our trivia. Hopefully, if we do have any listeners, that you can give us a call, 340-1590.
It's an exclusive trivia question for our online listeners
yes,
today.
and since the
It's exclusive.
Since the Ustream shows that there's one viewer,
Oh,
we can maybe they're guaranteed winner if they call.
there you go.
All right, 340-1590 is the number to call. We got a little bit of a riddle is what we're going to do. It's a riddle. And if you get the riddle, you get your choice between Benjamin Franklin Plumbing, whole house inspection, Elite Electric whole house inspection, or a one-time air conditioning inspection from Elite Electric and Air. So riddle me this, Batman. In order to eat this, you peel away the outside, cook the inside, then you eat the outside and throw away the inside. I'll say that again. In order to eat this, you peel away the outside, you cook the inside, then you eat the outside and throw away the inside. Okay? Once you hear the
I do
an-
have a guess on that. I
Wha-
think I might have it.
Once you hear the answer, you'll be like, oh yeah, that's easy.
Yeah, I think I got it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. 340-1590. Unfortunately, since we don't have the on air with the radio, we have a couple viewers online. So if you want to give us a call, 340-1590. And hey, and if you are listening to this show on Blog Talk Radio, which I take this recorded show and I play it throughout the week on Blog Talk Radio, you can email at comforttimelive@gmail.com. You can send an email if you know the answer to the question, and we see if we might be able to send you a little bit of a prize your way if you happen to be in our local community. And now this riddle is compliments of Jane Flynn, who has written the book, The Best Trivia Book Ever. So if you'd like to maybe pick up this book from Jane Flynn, also email me at comforttimelive@gmail.com, and we'll see what we can do about getting you a copy of the book. Okay, so one more time. In order to eat this, you peel away the outside, cook the inside, then you eat the outside and throw away the inside. All right, so now what we're talking about on your proposals is discounts, coupons, discounts. Now, some of the if you're in Florida and pretty much any area in the United States, a lot of your utility companies offer rebates. Okay, now Florida Power and Light here does offer it. Fort Pierce Utility only offers it sometimes because they have a very small budget. And Vero Beach, I don't think Vero Beach offers it at all.
A small budget?
Yeah, small
I've
budget.
seen my bill.
Yeah, they should be
have
actually
the biggest
offering more than
budget.
FPL, right?
Yeah, this is true.
But that's one that is typically year-round, is your utility company. So you want to check with your utility company first. Once again, I recommend that you do that before you get the contractor out. You can go on their website, like Florida Power and Light. You can go on FPL.com. You can check out what the rebates are. Some of the rebates are huge. I mean, they're up in the thousands, which is great. And what that does is that comes directly off the investment right there. Okay. Then what happens is there's a form that you fill out. FPL verifies that you as the homeowner received that rebate off of the investment.
Now, do they get who gives you that? Who gets that from the utility company? Is it the manufacturer of the product?
No,
okay.
no. It's FPL actually comes out of FPL's pocket, and
it
you
goes
you as
to
the purchaser, you
me?
get it. You're the homeowner.
Okay.
You buy an air conditioning system, $5,000, and you get a $585 rebate from Florida Power and Light. And what that is for is to help offset the cost of you going to a higher efficiency system. So going to like a 16 efficiency. So I take $585 right off the $5,000, and then that difference is what you pay.
Now, is there a difference in the rebate depending on how energy efficient you go?
Yes.
Okay.
How big the air conditioner is as far as tonnage, 1.5, 2, 3, 4, 5, and also how high a SEER. It starts at 14. Okay, so the higher you go in efficiency, the bigger the rebate. But then again, the higher the efficiency, the larger the investment on the
Sure.
system.
But you're going to get back savings too then on your power bill.
Exactly. And so what happens then is there's a form that you fill out. The contractor sends that into Florida Power and Light, and usually within 60, 65 days or so, Florida Power and Light reimburses the contractor for that
Okay.
money. But the benefit to FPL is if they got all these 16, 17, 18, 19 SEER systems out there, that's a lot less energy that's being used, and that's one less
They're the power
plant.
company. Don't they want me to use more?
No, because they have to build a power plant, and that power plant is in the billions. So if I can spend $3 or $4 million a year on offering these rebates to reduce the energy, so that I don't have to go out and build a new facility, then I benefit from that. But yeah, that's always a topic. Why are they giving me money to save energy? Don't they want more?
Yeah, shouldn't they want me
No.
to be using more?
But what they would cost them is they would end up having to build a new plant in order to take over.
Yeah, it costs you doing business.
Absolutely. Financing options. Financing options out there. There's a lot of companies. There's GE Capital. There's Wells Fargo. There's Capital. I mean, there's all different organizations that offer financing through for heating and air conditioning home improvement. And a lot of that can be done right over the phone within just a couple minutes. However, a majority of those programs cost the dealer money to do. Sometimes the dealers offer that as a benefit to you, where if you do that, the dealer takes the hit, whatever the percentage is. Some dealers have that already factored in, okay? But it's a benefit. And there's a lot of like 12 months same as cash out there where you make a minimum payment for 12 months, which is usually like 3.5% of the total investment. And then at the end of the 12 months, as long as you pay it off in full before the end of the 12 months, you don't pay a penny in interest. Okay? And then there's other programs that, you can get reduced interest rates, from like 5.9 to 7.9 to 9.9.
Kind of like buying a car.
Exactly, and you can do all that stuff. But it's all regulated through the company. The dealer has nothing to do with the finance rates or whatnot. But the nice thing is it can be done quickly over the phone. They're very picky now about credit. So typically if your credit score is below 640, don't even consider it because they're very, very, very tight with that. Ask for a discount. Ask for discount. If you do not ask, you'll never get it. And there's a lot of companies out there that will give it to you just by asking. Now, my firm belief when I train the companies that I deal with for my consulting side of my business is I recommend that the only discount they offer is a cash discount. That's my recommendation to them. And the reason being is if you price your job properly to where you're just making a comfortable profit without ripping somebody off, but stay consistent. Okay, let's say I have 2 salespeople working for me. One salesperson goes to your house, buy a 3-ton air conditioning system. Let's say it ends up being $5,000. The other sales guy goes to your next door neighbor. 2 of them don't know that they were there. You don't know that your next door neighbor right now is buying something. He buys the exact same system. I mean, to the T, everything identical. He asks for a discount and you don't. I give him a discount. $500, let's say. You guys are chit-chatting over a beer one night, and he talks, hey, I had so-and-so. Hey, I just used that company too. Cool. Hey, what'd you get? Oh, hey, I got the same thing. What'd you pay? Well, first off, you're
Well,
both
you know what you pay
well,
is going to
first off-
come up in the
first off, you
conversation.
first off, you guys are going to lie to each other because you're not going to tell the other one exactly what you paid for it. So you'll probably say less. But if one of you finds out that you paid less than the other one, you're going to be PO'd. Okay? So I always recommend do not offer a discount. Price your job right the first time. And the only discount you offer is a cash discount. This way it's consistent across the board. If I pay cash, you give me 2, 3, 4, 5%, whatever it may be. But you get yourself in a world of hurt if you start. And a lot of these guys will. There's some companies that have.
No, some of them price according to what neighborhood they're quoting in.
Some of them do that,
And that's
some of them
wrong.
price their jobs so high, and what they do is they hope that they'll get out of 10, they'll get 2 people that won't squawk, that won't get other bids.
They'll just write the check.
And they made a ton of money off that guy. Well, then they got the other guys to say, well, gosh, I got another quote over here. Okay, well, I can try to get a little closer.
Yeah, well, let's see your other quote first. Let's see what
Exactly.
you're getting.
But, there's some companies that are thousands higher. And sometimes it's on the same exact stuff. Now, just because somebody's higher doesn't mean that they're ripping you off. They may be doing a lot of other things that this other company's not. But just you got to research.
No, you have to compare apples to apples.
Yeah. But a lot of us don't know the apples for apples. We just assume, I'm sure that this guy's doing that. Okay, but did he say it, and is it on the paper?
Yeah. Well, wouldn't they all do it the same way?
Yeah, no, they think so, and
Exactly,
I hear that
yeah.
all the time. Won't they all do that? No, they won't all do that. That's why there's a difference. What about this? No, they won't all do that either.
So air conditioning is kind of like pool contracting too, right? It
I
depends
don't know
on
much
who you
about
talk to.
If it's a contractor, anything.
It's just a contractor
It's
category.
contractor category.
Oh.
A home improvement contractor, just in general. It just you're going to have it whether it's electrical, whether it's plumbing, and the whole problem is you got to figure out. And if you find somebody you trust and it's done good work for you, just stick with them.
Yeah, that's the key.
Just stick with them. And you know what? You may find somebody out there that's a few bucks cheaper, but if you've been happy with these guys, they're on time. Their employees are clean cut. They don't smoke in your house. They don't cuss. They don't reek of odors. They don't drink on the job. You know what? Stick with them, because they're far and few between out there. They really are. To find a good company out there that is going to give you good service in and out. So, and then the other thing that they have out there for discounts that you want to make sure you ask, and right now most of them are manufacturers rebates. A lot of manufacturers, Trane and Lennox and Carrier, they have rebates up to like $1,200. But right now during the summer times they end. Now they should be starting up probably September, October, they'll start back up again. And that's a great time to buy. Now, most of them are only on the higher efficiency air conditioning systems when you get into the 16s, 17s, 18, 19s. But in some instances, between a $1,100 FPL rebate and a $1,200 Train or Carrier or Lennox rebate, I mean, you get $2,200, $2,300 off. But you're also buying a system that's going to probably cost you $3,000 or $4,000.
You know,
more.
in certain years too, you may even get a little deduction on your tax return too. So that's a
Not
good
anymore.
thing. No,
Not anymore.
You know, every year it's just something different. You know, did you
First
upgrade
2
your
years-
windows? Did you
first 2
upgrade
years
your
it was
insulation?
$1,500.
Okay.
Then the next year, when Obama came on board, he downgraded it to $300, which was an absolute joke, because in order to get a higher efficiency system, it cost you a heck of a lot
Yeah.
more than $300. But no, the rebates are gone now.
For that, okay.
For that specifically. Now, you never know what's going to happen after
Next-
election.
yeah.
I mean, I thought the $1,500 was just absolutely incredible. Then, people were buying systems left and right, and I tell you that really helped one help the economy, because air conditioning absolutely went through.
See,
the
and it's
roof.
not actual cash back; it's a deduction against taxes that you paid. So that I think is
yes
a
and no.
really good way to do it.
Yeah, yes and no. But you could potentially get cash back, because let's say on my paycheck, and I'm just using a round number, the IRS says I should have paid $20,000 in taxes. On my paycheck, you as the company took $20,000 out of my paycheck. I don't owe them; they don't owe me. All right.
Okay.
I buy an air conditioning system. I have this tax credit. Let's say it was $1,500. I submit that.
So you
That
got a tax credit.
reduces my $20,000 tax liability to the IRS
Right.
down $1,500. So now I'll get $1,500 back. Okay. So it's again now, and also if I owed them, same thing. Let's say I owed them $500. That $1,500 would have reduced my tax
Sure.
liability. Now I would get $1,000 back. I wouldn't owe them anything. So that one, and I actually gave a lot of classes. In fact, it's funny you brought that up. That was actually how I started here on WPSL. Is Scott Kameyer from AC Advantage actually brought me in when he did a show for the Chamber of Commerce, his very first
Okay.
show. He brought me in to help him talk about that tax program, because I was very well versed
So
on it.
that's where you came from.
Yes. So we have to blame it all on Scott. It's Scott's fault. All right. Well, don't forget, next Friday, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have Doug Smith with Janus Investigations, going to be talking to us about all kinds of things. So don't forget, give us a call here, 340-1590. Go to Comfort Time Live. Check out the website there, or give us an email at comforttimelive@gmail.com. Well, thanks for listening, ladies and gentlemen. Have an absolutely great weekend. Happy Labor Day? Labor Day. There you go. Take care. I'll see you soon.